refresh for 2025, but it didn't have this trim level. This year, we're test driving the 2026 GMC Terrain AT4. I'm really excited. There's a bunch of technology that I'm not sure about, so I'm gonna grab an expert like John Ambrozic here. Hey, John.
Right, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well. John's a salesman here at Smil GMC in Greensburg, and together we're gonna take this vehicle on a test drive. If you're interested in a Terrain, come check out our inventory. We're online at smilgmc.com. Now, the only thing hotter than the temperature out here, John, is this exterior red color, right? What is this?
Well, it's perfect for today, too. It's volcanic red. So kind of feels like we're doing this video in a volcano maybe today.
Right. And when we're looking at the red features, another thing that really sticks out to me are those tow hooks down there at the bottom. Is that part of this AT4 package?
Yep, exclusive on the AT4s, as well as your black painted accents. So what you'll notice around the wheel wells, typically on the other Terrains, other than the Denali, you're gonna have like molded black plastic. It's textured. This is kind of what you get in the Denalis, but it's just black as opposed to body color. So
what about the black on the top of the vehicle?
Yeah, so that's a new feature for the for this year. You can actually get that with a black painted roof.
Okay.
Ebony twilight, so when you get up close to it, it's got the metallic in it.
And so that's an additional feature on there. As we come around the side, I'm noticing some lights above the tires and things like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, again, AT4 exclusive. So on the AT4s, you're gonna get these 17-inch wheels. It's you're gonna have that machine finish along the face with that dark gray inserts. And then these come equipped with the General Grabber AT tires. It's like an all-terrain tire, kind of a little bit of a hybrid, so it looks aggressive, but you're not going to get that road noise and kind of rough feel that you normally get with a tire that would look like that. So it's a little softer.
AT4 logo there on that driver's door. If I want to get into this vehicle now, John, it has keyless entry, obviously, right? Because I don't see a keyhole.
Yep,
so
button right there.
Yeah.
Push that, unlocks the doors. One time's drivers, twice all the other passenger doors. When you get out, hit that button, locks them. Never really need to take a key out of your pocket.
Yeah, that's really great. I love not having to take the key out of my pocket.
Yeah.
Another thing I'm noticing here, the blacked out side view mirror is really, really slick as well. So coming around the back side of the vehicle, I'm noticing some cameras back here. We're gonna go into that stuff whenever we get inside, but we have the GMC logo there in the center, Terrain AT4 logo back there. To get into the trunk, John, I'm just going to press the button here in the back. It's going to have an automatic power tailgate. Comes all the way up. It looks like we have all-weather mats in here. That's got to be an additional
this one is equipped with all the interior protection package. So you get your cargo mat back here, as well as all-weather liners for the first and second row.
And there's some additional storage space in there right now. I don't know, you could probably also fit a spare tire in there.
Spare tires under there. Yep.
And we have lights back here, which is really great to see. On the right side, if you look over here, we actually have a 12-volt charger as well. Great to see if you need any type of power in the back. If we're putting down these seats, though, let's just go ahead and do that real quick.
Yep, so there's actually, you could do it that way, or you can do it from the side of the vehicle. But again, these things are gonna lay perfectly flat, give you a nice amount of room back there. If you don't have anybody sitting in the back, gives you an awful lot of room back there.
So jumping into the back seats, we have a really interesting, honestly, texture and look to these back seats here, John. Yeah.
Well, this interior color is Forest Storm. So it's the only interior color that you can get in the AT4s. It is GM's Cortec, which is kind of like a synthetic leather. It's a combination. You can see those bolsters. They almost feel like it's a cloth.
Yes. See, this definitely feels cloth to me.
Yeah.
This feels like leather. This is leather, like a perforated leather look and feel. And I have to say, if forest does that make this like a little bit green?
Yeah.
It seems
so
like
it's actually depends on when you look at it.
I can see the green in there whenever I have my sunglasses off.
Yeah.
If I bring this down, we have two cup holders back here, which is great. You have some ventilation back here, but The big thing here, there's 2 USB-C fast charging ports back here. Let's jump up front and then we'll get this thing on the road. All right, John, here we are in the front seats of the Terrain for the first time. And man, everything looks really great. Refreshed last year, so it looks a little familiar to me, but things look really nice, especially with this large, like, what is this, like 15 inches?
Yeah.
This is a big screen here,
Yep.
vertical screen. In front of me here actually is an instrument cluster. That has got to be around 12 inches.
Yeah.
So definitely very vibrant displays, very interesting designs on there. Just take a second here because there's some unique buttons over here on the left side of the steering wheel. So let's check that out. So over here we actually have our electronic parking brake, but to the right of that we have our mode button. So whenever I press that, you can actually see on the main screen here. So we have different driving modes here, right? We have normal, off-road, terrain, snow, ice, and tow haul. So we can actually tow and haul things with this. Do you have any idea about what the capabilities are for that?
It's about, I think 1,500 pounds is what the towing rate capacity is on this.
Another really cool feature, this is probably going to save you some gas mileage, I would think, is you can actually turn your all-wheel drive on and off. You can switch it between two-wheel drive and your all-wheel drive system there. So that's really cool. I don't know very many vehicles that have that ability. You also have your auto hold. We'll put that on and we'll test that out during the test drive. We also have our idle engine off button over here. So whenever we come to a stop at stop signs, it's not going to shut off your engine. So you can turn that on and off there. We have this GMC steering wheel with some nice brown stitching that matches the rest of this vehicle. Actually, what we didn't mention here is that this texture that we saw on the back seats kind of continues throughout the rest of the vehicle too, which is really nice. But the buttons that we have on our steering wheel, left side we have our adaptive cruise control button, and it looks like we can change our distances and stuff like that. We actually have first.
So you have that's a low setting. So normally what this one has is, because your shifter's here, you're going to shift into drive, but you'll see here your gear selector goes to L. So once you're in drive, you hit that L button, it'll light up over there, and then you actually have paddle shifters.
Cool.
So you can manually shift.
Really cool. Really good for those snowy situations and maybe some off-road situations there for sure. On the right side of the steering wheel, we have our audio controls. Looks like we have a heated steering wheel button, as well as our phone buttons, and we can actually change what's in front of us here on the instrument cluster, which is great. You can see my maps are up there. It's big, it's vibrant, and you still have your miles per hour and everything up there. Real nice and easy. You have your safety features, and you have your normal view here. So definitely a lot of different stuff there. So I noticed that we also have our push to talk button there. So that begs the question, John, do we have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in this vehicle?
It has both of those. So obviously you can hit that button. That button is more so for the features built into the vehicle though. So I know right now with Apple CarPlay, if you are connected to that and you have Siri activated, you don't even have to push a button. You just say Siri, and then tell it what to do, and that's it. You don't have to push any buttons. Along with the Google Assistant, this has Google Assistant built in, along with your Google Maps. So if you need directions, you can hit the button, or you just say, "Hey Google," and there it is. It picks you up, and then you just ask it to give you directions to wherever it is you're going, and it pulls those up off of Google Maps.
See, that's really great. You have a couple different options there for that. Looking at the bottom of the screen while we're here, we actually do have some nice little features here. We have heated seats for the driver and the passenger there. You also have your controls here for your AC. Looks like you have your different safety features, and a lot of this stuff can be accessed here on the screen. So you have your fog lights and your auto high beams. You have your traction control, parking assist, all that really great stuff that even your dome lights are on here, I just want to show off that we have some charging options, USB-A, USB-C, and a wireless charger back here, as well as 2 cup holders up front. Looking in this armrest real quick, so we have a little coin pouch here that we can take out, and we have a nice deep cavity here for storing stuff. Lots of storage in here, love that. And now that we're up here, I'm looking at certain things like our OnStar button, our SOS button. Obviously, SOS, we've talked about this before, connects to your phone to send a message to 911 if you were in an emergency situation. My favorite feature that we have in this cockpit is this rear view camera mirror. So obviously we have a normal mirror here that we're looking at, but if I were to flip this down, we have a camera in the back. So you can actually see past whatever's in your back seat. Let's say you have some kids back there. I have a cameraman, so that gets me better visibility as we're driving. You can brighten that, you can make it darker, you can zoom in and out with that, and you can tilt that up and down. So there's just a lot of different ways you can customize that and make that yours. And that's one of the features that I absolutely love to see. So that's a lot of features. Let's get this thing out on the road. Let's test some of them out before these cameras overheat.
Let's get going.
So let's put this vehicle into reverse. I'm just gonna pull back and up, and that's gonna bring up our backup camera. We have a nice 360 view backup camera. Whenever I turn the wheel, that's changing the lines so that I see where I'm going. I actually got a vibration in my seat to alert me that something's behind me. I love that. And obviously, the closer that I get to something, the more I'm being alerted here. The seat is vibrating. And, some other things we got to look at is that we have views all around us. We can even go straight up and down so that we can make sure we get into a spot perfectly for the front and back. We have those side cameras to view our tires if we want to look on either side of us as we're driving. So there's a lot of different ways that you can kind of look around this vehicle, and definitely it's great to see, even bringing that up by itself is really
you
great.
can see how, if you eliminate that overhead view, you can see how much it just kind of makes that image a lot bigger and wider.
All right, let's get this thing out onto the highway. I'm just going to hit the accelerator. All right. Well, that definitely got us up to speed very smooth. So I did go ahead and activate the adaptive cruise control. And I set our gap adjustment to the highest adjustment there. So what this is doing, John, could you kind of explain this to people?
So depending on your gap adjustment, it's just going to dictate how much of a space between you and the car in front of you before the vehicle starts slowing down. So
and
you can see we're slowing down. You can see the green highlighted is showing that you have it set to 54. We're rapidly coming to a stop here, coming up to a red light. So this thing will bring you down if it needed to an actual complete stop.
And my foot's been off of the brake and off of the accelerator this entire time. So this is definitely bringing us down to a complete stop and doing it very safely. I don't feel like we got too close to the vehicle in front of us or anything like that. So that's really great. The other thing that I have active right now is lane keep assist. And I know that that's active because on the dashboard, there's a green car with 2 green lines on either side of it. That means it's registered. If I just inch over here, what is this doing for us here, John?
It's gonna steer you back over. So you can see we started drifting over. It's gonna turn the wheel, steer you back to the center of the lane. And then once it kind of gets back in the center and establishes, those little green lines are gonna turn green again. They were yellow. Just did it again there. So once it gets back in the middle of the lane, again, it establishes, they'll turn green. Again, it's going to keep doing this, but after a certain point, it's not meant to just drive for you. It's more of a safety thing. If you allow it to do that enough times, it's going to tell you need to pull over, pay attention, take a break, just because it doesn't know what's going on, whether you're tired or whatever.
So in my mirror, I noticed that we have somebody coming in my blind spot. That's going to light up. Whenever I turn on my turn signal, that's now flashing at me to alert me that somebody's over there and that I shouldn't make that left-hand turn. One of the things that I'm also noticing is that it's not super loud in here. I'm not hearing a lot of the outside road noise in here.
No, that's what I said. And you would think, again, with these tires, maybe you typically see tires like that. You have them on vehicles. Usually get a rougher ride, a little bit more of that road noise.
You would think. All right, turning radius time. Just gonna turn the wheel hard, and yeah, we got right around in there. It's, you know, with this being a smaller SUV, that's kind of what I expected it to be. It's a nice turning radius.
So warranty, you're going to get a 3-year, 36,000 mile bumper to bumper warranty, and then your powertrain warranty, which is going to cover your engine, transmission, drivetrain. That's a 5-year, 60,000 mile warranty.
Okay. So the GMC Terrain is just an all-around, I think, great SUV to drive. I think it's very stylish, and it's great for off-road situations. If people have questions about this vehicle, John, how would they be able to contact you?
Easiest way is if you're in the area, just stop in and see us right off of Route 30 in Greensburg, or check us out online at smailgmc.com.
That's going to do it for our test drive. So until next time, enjoy the ride.